their deliberations led them to a unanimous conclusion, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant, Donald J. Trump, is guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree to conceal a scheme to corrupt the 2016 election.
I had a front row seat to history and saw up close the anger.
There's no justice in this country! It's called corruption! Guilty!
Celebrations
Guilty!
and heartbreak when a New York jury convicted the former president.
I don't know how to express my emotion. I don't know how.
Guilty on all 34 counts.
Oh my God! It's war! It's going down! Down! It's over!
After days of waiting for the verdict, this was not what Kim wanted to hear. She voted for Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election, but is now a die-hard Trump supporter.
Is this the verdict you were expecting?
New York. The judge threatened them. Look at me, I'm calm now. Right? Just told me 10 minutes ago. Corruption.
Yeah. He is now a convicted criminal. Do you still support him?
Of course, I keep going. I just don't guilty. I have support.
Biden stole the election in 2020 by falsifying a lot of fake ballots. Now this time he is not able to do it. So now he has to use another excuse to.
This is not about Joe Biden. This is about 12 jurors finding the former president guilty. He is now a convicted criminal.
I know, but then the whole thing is being orchestrated by Joe Biden. Yeah, Joe Biden orchestrated the whole thing.
This is a claim that I have repeatedly heard when talking to Trump loyalists. Many, like Tina in the Make America Great Again movement that has captured the Republican Party, continue to believe that the election was stolen from Trump despite no evidence supporting this.
This right now, we're in Obama's third term. Biden's presidency is Obama's third term. And he's anti-American. I'll call them all anti-American because that's exactly what they all are.
Trump save America!
It is surreal and somewhat bizarre to hear, but there are some who are convinced that Biden is under the influence of his predecessor.
I believe that Joe Biden is the president, words per se, but Obama, this is his third term. He's pulling the strings. He started all this.
Some people may say you're completely mad.
I know. I've been called
that.
that.
Is Barack Obama the president when the American people elected Joe Biden nearly 4 years ago?
I didn't say Barack Obama is the president. I said that he is pulling the strings behind closed doors. This is his third term. And a lot of people that you would speak to will agree with me on that. You have, and I don't like to say, I actually feel bad for Joe Biden. He's a senile old man, and he's just getting played, his strings being pulled.
In the eyes of his supporters, Trump is the defender-in-chief of American values and the only person who they say can save the country.
America!
If he defeats Joe Biden in November, the 77-year-old will be the first sitting president in history to be a convicted felon.
Did you ever think you'd see something like this in your lifetime?
No, it really is uncharted territory.
John Bolton was an advisor in Trump's administration.
There's never been a president after he left office being indicted for anything. But when a jury actually convicts somebody, a unanimous jury of 12 people, I think across the country, many citizens will say there must be something to this. And that will be very negative for Trump. If it's not, then we're in a different planet, really.
It was inside this Manhattan courthouse where the momentous case unfolded, which led to the first ever criminal prosecution of a US president. Stormy Daniels was a star witness who spent 8 hours testifying about her sexual encounter with Trump in a hotel room in 2006, an account which he continues to deny.
And what was it like seeing him face to face again?
Well, I think I was the only one that kept him awake the entire thing. They said he was watching me the whole time, but he wasn't watching me like this. He was watching the big monitor. So I didn't realize there was a big screen behind me the whole time that he could see. So I just thought he was like refusing to look at me, but I guess he was looking dead at me on the screen. He doesn't scare me. At least he kept his clothes on this time.
Prosecutors placed her at the center of the case as a way to show why Trump falsified his business records to keep her story away from voters just 11 days before the 2016 presidential race. The former president could be forced to spend time in state prison, have his movements controlled on probation, or even ordered to carry out community service.
You have to pick a punishment that affects the individual. And, you know, if someone perhaps that is fining them, he doesn't care about that. His followers will just pay it for him. He'll pay money all day long. It doesn't affect him. I think taking away the control of being in jail is what would affect him, and community service.
Like the rest of the country, I want to understand how the outcome of this case might impact the battle for America in the upcoming election.
I'm still a registered Republican, but I voted for Joe Biden. Anyway.
Jerry is an example of the deepening political polarization. He voted for Trump in 2016, but has now switched to supporting Biden.
He's just an embarrassment. He's a total embarrassment. He's everything that's bad about this country. He's a spoiled rich kid who's failed at everything he's done. And you know, that sort of person is funny to point at and laugh at when they're not holding a public office, but when they're holding the most powerful office in the land, it's a very scary thing. And he empowers all these racists, lunatics, and nut jobs to be their worst selves. I hope this is the end of it. I hope it ends with him. And I hope he loses this election, and I hope he spends the rest of his life in court.
By all appearances, the Republican Party will stick with Trump as their presidential nominee. He has essentially taken over the GOP. His daughter-in-law is even in charge of the Republican National Committee. And polls show the race between him and Biden is neck and neck.
The same experts in 2020 were saying that Joe Biden couldn't win in 2020, and he won by 7 million votes. And on so many issues, including abortion, but climate change and justice in general, our base is going to wind up being...
You're convinced Joe Biden will win?
Oh, Joe Biden is definitely going to win. All the experts are wrong. See, what happens is experts get on, they see a poll that was taken yesterday, and they get on, and they analyze the poll. Like they really even understand what the turnout is going to be in 2024. Our turnout's going to be high because in September and October, the same as 2020, everyone realizes what's at stake, and then we wind up beating him.
Trump has already said he will contest November's results should he lose to Biden a second time. He has also faced backlash for downplaying but not ruling out the possibility of political violence. And I saw the rage this trial has provoked with vows of retribution among his supporters.
If they put him in jail, then we're going to have a lot of fun with that. We'll have the world's largest commissary fund for Donald Trump. We'll all get to visit him behind glass while he's delegating as president. And maybe we'll kick off something like January 6th, only like make it look like a day at nursery school.
You'd be willing to take to the streets to do whatever it takes to free him?
I mean, I can't say that. I don't know if that's criminal to admit to that. But I think it deserves to spark if they put a former president in jail, a future president in jail. Yeah, I think something should happen. I'm not going to say whether or not I'm going to do it because I could be criminally liable for saying that. But I think it should happen.
Our interview was then suddenly interrupted by this anti-Trump protester.
It could be Jane. I hope different.
I will get the gun. No. I will.
No.
We'll find you.
Do it. I dare you. I will light you up. I will you up. I will light you up. You get in my face, I will light you up. You put this fist down. Yeah, you put it. Stop. I'm just standing here doing an interview. Did you get that? So what was your question?
That just gives us a sense of just how tense
and I
things
can't,
are.
and it's funny that he did not have an American accent, which is normal, but whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm just standing here doing an interview with you, and these very angry people want to fight me. Like, you see, he put his fist up first to me. I'm ready to defend myself, no problem. But yeah, that's the way it is right now in America. I wear my Trump hat everywhere, not only in the United States, but I wear it in Germany, I wear it in Great Britain, I wear it all over the world when I travel. I have not taken this hat off in 7 years. So I've been through many of these little controversies because that's how angry people are with people that wear MAGA hats.
You've worked with him, you know how he thinks. Will he go all out to try and cause chaos?
I don't think for those of us who are opposed to Trump getting a second term, it helps to exaggerate the threat. I don't think you should minimize the threat, but to say this is insurrection and civil war, we had a civil war. We have a basis of comparison. And in that civil war, 620,000 soldiers died on both sides. 620,000. That was an insurrection. What Donald Trump did sitting in the Oval Office was a riot. Now he's sitting by the swimming pool at Mar-a-Lago, and I think it's very open to question whether he could even get a January 6th demonstration / riot going again.
You guys want to take the American dream from all of us. Stupid idiots.
But for supporters like Sophia from Barbados, the real threat to America is Trump's conviction. She's voting for him because of his position on immigration.
They can't give us one good reason why we should hate him. This gentleman, this man, ran for office and is running again. And I can't see nobody else that would do anything that he did. And we appreciate it. And appreciation is said in love. We appreciate what he's doing. So that's why we're out here, because we appreciate what he's doing. If he can sacrifice his life, we can sacrifice ours as well.
They're sending prisoners, murderers, drug dealers, mental patients, terrorists. The worst of every country is coming into our country now. They're coming from the Congo, Yemen, Somalia, Syria, all over the world. They're coming. They're country changing, country threatening, and they're country wrecking. They're destroying our country. They're destroying, we can drill and we can get the oil going, but this is a tough one. We're going to end up with the largest deportation in American history. We have no choice.
Yes!
Every single one of them will be sent back. Every anchor baby, every one of them, whether they commit a crime or not, because the first crime they commit was to break the law to come in. And don't tell me Biden invited them over. You got common sense. You don't just walk into people's ports of entry. No, you don't love your country. You want a president to be locked up? It is stupid.
Thank you. God bless you.
Stupid.
God bless you. The illegal immigrants are living the American dream, not the real Americans. Come here legally. Come here to Ellis Island like everyone else did. And you are more than welcomed in our country.
What do you say to some people who may consider your views, as well as the former president's rhetoric on immigration, to be somewhat racist or prejudiced?
It's not racist. Come in the right way, and we'll welcome you with open arms. Stop taking our resources from us.
You really get a sense there, don't you, that immigration will be one of the key voting issues come November. If elected to a second term, Trump wants to round up an estimated 10 to 13 million people who are here illegally. And that in itself will cause huge disruption throughout the country. He also made a similar pledge in 2016. But this time round, Trump has a more militarized vision.
Get to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection!
He wants to deploy police officers, soldiers, and a National Guard to carry out his deportation plans.
He passes a cognitive test every day, as he moves from one topic to another topic.
Biden's state of mind and fitness is not just one of Trump's top attack lines, but it is a recurring threat to his re-election campaign.
What would you say to people who raise questions about Joe Biden's age and whether he is fit for another term?
I've sat with Joe Biden numerous times, sometimes for 2 hours or more over the last 6 months, and he is sharp and ready to continue as President of the United States. I trust his judgment.
Joe Biden is a strong president and a man of great decency.
In Joe Biden, we have somebody with knowledge, temperament, judgment, none of which the other candidate has. So we need a president who has the kind of qualities that Joe Biden has and not the other person who's basically crazy.
Despite this issue once again becoming a talking point, Vice President Kamala Harris has avoided any mention of it whilst campaigning.
Over the past 3 years, the President and I have been very intentional about the work that we are doing to invest in communities in many ways, including through small businesses. Thus far, we have invested more than $3 billion in the entrepreneurs and small businesses here in North Carolina.
Team Biden sees her as an effective communicator in helping to boost enthusiasm among women and black voters. These are two important groups who will determine if Democrats will remain in the White House. For Trump, his biggest problem is that a large number of the Republican electorate and a good chunk of independents appear to be firmly against voting for him.
Well, the biggest problem the Democrats have is that people don't find Joe Biden up to the job either. They don't like the state of the economy. They don't think he's capable of being president for 4 more years at his age. And they may not like Trump very much, but they worry that another Biden term will be very bad for them economically. So Trump's troubles are an issue, to be sure, and could become a much bigger issue. But people vote about which president is more likely to enhance their economic well-being, and right now, that looks like Trump to many of them.
At a time when many aren't so keen about a rematch between the same contenders 4 years ago, Robert F. Kennedy, a long-shot, third-party candidate, sees himself as an alternative.
I get many of the same supporters. I will take support from President Trump. No other Democrat can do that. My supporters are probably equally Republican and Democrat at this point.
No independent candidate running for office has ever come close to winning the presidency. But Kennedy has been cutting into Trump's support base as well as drawing votes away from Biden. I recently spoke to him to find out why he has decided to follow in his uncle, John F. Kennedy's footsteps in wanting to be president.
I see my country disappearing, and I see the Democratic Party on a path that I don't see they're any different than, it's a uniparty. They're both a party of war. The Democratic Party used to be the party of peace.
Trump's felony conviction will form part of the Democrats' core message as to why he should never be commander-in-chief again.
Most candidates who are caught up in political scandals, let alone being charged with a crime, they would be disgraced and we'll see the back of them. Donald Trump seems to be on this train and he's going full speed ahead.
I don't think so, because I think Donald Trump is an aberration. And take this New York case. I don't think 99.9% of Americans have ever met a porn star, have ever known anyone who's paid hush money to a porn star, who don't know anybody who has cooked their company's books to conceal payment of hush money to a porn star. And the strangeness of that reality, even if Donald Trump is the victim of a prosecutor who wanted to make a political point, that behavior that Trump almost certainly engaged in should put off enough Americans that in a normal world, pre-Trump, there's no way he could be elected president.
I've traveled 50,000 miles across the United States over the last 5 months and have seen just how high the stakes will be come November. What I've also witnessed is a dramatic shift in American politics as two unpopular, aging politicians prepare for what will be a massive, consequential presidential showdown.
I'm going to vote for Biden, but not because I support Biden, because not voting for him is the same as voting for Trump.
The Republican primaries have shown us that Donald Trump should not be underestimated.
His base understands who he is and are willing to accept him despite his criminal status. And as of right now, that is not going to change.
If we don't win, this may be the last election our country ever has, because Joe Biden is a threat to democracy.
Meanwhile, at this point, Democrats cannot replace Biden against his will.
But he continues to struggle to convince voters that he's not too old for the job.
Age notwithstanding, Biden has spent much of the past 4 decades working towards the presidency.
He said he wants to be a dictator on day one. He tells supporters he is their revenge and retribution. When in God's name have you heard of another president say something like that?
For the first time in more than a century, Americans will now have to choose between two men who have already served as their commander-in-chief.